Hi, and welcome again. This is Brooke Erdman, and today I'm speaking with Chad, who's going to share with us his successful journey with the carnivore diet. Hi, Chad.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And thank you again for coming to share with us about what's been going on for you. And so, what has been going on for you? When did you start the carnivore diet, and why for?
So I just want to say thank you very much for reaching out and you know uh, being able to share my experience and my story with the Meat RX community.
Yes.
Um, I started the carnivore diet in February of 2020, so it was just after Super Bowl actually. Um, but leading up before that moment, I've been contemplating going carnivore for quite some time. I mean, I've done low carb, I've done keto. I even went pescatarian for about 6 months. Uh, Probably not the best decision I could make, but not the worst decision either. Um, and things kind of really started when I saw Sean's interview on Joe Rogan. And I think that's it for a lot of people. And prior to that, I've read some Gary Taubes and some Mark Sisson. Been following the low carb community, and then I got really intrigued by carnivore after watching Sean's interview, and began doing some more research. I attempted, carnivore in January of 2019 for World Carnivore Month. I did it for about 3 weeks. I wanted to keep going, but for other reasons, I did have to stop. Um, wasn't really health related. It was just other issues that were going on, and just thought, okay, I really want to do this, but
What can I ask you? What were you eating right before you started on the World Carnivore Tribe then?
I kind of, like I said, I've switched over from like low carb to keto,
Yeah.
and before going carnivore, I was following like a sad diet. Like my son was just born, and a
Congratulations.
lot of like sleepless nights, and being tired and cranky, and anxious, because it was our firstborn. Well, it still is our first, but um, yeah,
Yeah.
you just kind of wanted to
All
eat
those
anything that was comfortable,
yeah.
anything that would kind of like help you get through the day. So I did end up putting a lot of weight on, and in November of 2019, I kind of, we went for a photo shoot with the family, our first photo shoot, and I kind of saw a photo of myself, and I'm like, oof, I really got to do something. I mean, I was quite overweight when I was like the fat chubby kid growing up, and I, was about 230 pounds when I was 17, and was successful. I lost about 60 pounds on a low carb, but it was like low carb and low fat at the same time. It was, just as the Atkins diet was kind of starting and taking off.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so just pretty much eating anything. But we'll say a month leading up to carnivore in January of 2020, I started intermittent fasting. So I was doing like a 16-8 fast. I would fast for 16 hours, and then I would get as many calories as I could in an 8-hour window. So I'm typically doing what would be called 2 meals a day. And then just shortly after Super Bowl, I decided, okay, I'm doing this. I went to Costco. I got a bunch of like roasts, a bunch of chuck roasts, cut them into steaks, packaged it, and then started my carnivore diet journey.
Very good. And so when you started that journey, what were some of the things that you noticed right away? Did you have some difficulty in that transition? Were you just dropping the plants off and just eating meat? What were you doing?
Um, yeah, I definitely dropped the plants. I continued intermittent fasting. Um, so say I just took some notes here. Um, so I did a little bit of OMAD to start as well, because I've already done intermittent fasting. I would do 1 meal a day, but eventually I settled into eating 2 meals a day. Um, my diet mostly comprised of fatty meats, so primal cuts, eggs, pork, bacon, sausages. On occasion, I would eat salmon. Um, I do drink coffee, so that is plants. So I it's something that I may kick one day, but I do enjoy my coffee, so I would put heavy cream in my coffee. Um, and now my typical, and then I didn't really have problems. The problems I would have would be maybe headaches from time to time, and then diarrhea. But that was just part of the, being adapted to eating meat and ditching the plants.
How long did you
But
have,
I,
how
I,
long did you, excuse me, how long did you have that those transition symptoms?
I would say maybe 2-3 weeks.
3 weeks,
I
okay.
think since I've already been intermittent fasting a month prior to going carnivore and eating a relatively keto diet, I think it really helped my transition.
Yeah, it's different for everyone. Some people have none of that issues, and some people have that and more. So it really varies. So you notice that you drop plants, you're eating animal foods. Sounds like a mixture, and you had some diarrhea, but other than that,
Eventually, things resolved. We'll
yeah.
say things became more normal. I was no longer constipated. I was had a bit of diarrhea, but that ended up stopping. I noticed that, I guess I always had hemorrhoids, growing up as a child, and I noticed, that really resolved. It was, became better and better. I didn't have, heartburn or GERD. That went away, and my cravings for sweets, I really didn't have any desire to eat anything sweet or eat chocolate or anything like that.
So like heartburn and GERD and some indigestion was something that you had experienced throughout your life.
Yeah.
And then it sort of lessened. Would you say that it just lessened as these weeks went by, or what was that like?
So it definitely lessened. It took maybe about a month or so for it to resolve, really. And I do know that, I will have the occasional suboptimal meal from time to time. And I noticed right away, like, I remember I would have family over. We ended up having Chinese food, and I just felt sleepy, lethargic. I could just lie down on the floor and just fall asleep.
Yeah, I mean, with Chinese food, that's probably a lot of seed oils and
sugar and
mm-hmm.
yeah. And it hit me right away. I could lie down, fall asleep, and maybe the following day I would notice, okay, some of my GI issues are coming back. So I definitely feel a lot better on a carnivore diet or a zero carb diet.
When you were interested in the carnivore diet, I know that you shared that you saw this family photo and thought, I want to, that's not happening. I want to lose some weight. What else was going on for you then as far as your health? Or was it just a weight?
It was just, I've been contemplating going carnivore for a really long time at that point, at least a year. And it was just a matter of having the confidence and trusting the process and really, diving in and doing it.
Yeah. So after those few weeks of transition, what were you noticing?
So I noticed that, so most, if not all, of my GI problems have resolved. Was never constipated. On occasion, I might get diarrhea, but usually things are great. No longer have heartburn or GERD. I did end up losing weight, so I lost about 30 pounds over the course of the year. And I'm still losing weight, but my focus is more on body composition than the number on a scale. Again, don't have any cravings for sweets. Depending on the day, I'll eat either one meal or 2 meals. During a work week when I'm busy, I can go, 1 meal a day. And on weekends, I'm a little more flexible. I'll eat, I'll make myself a, breakfast, and I'll have like a steak or something for dinner with some eggs. My sleep has improved. I feel like I have a steady flow of energy. I never really feel sluggish unless, I'm woken up in the middle of the night by, a child. Yeah, those are definitely that's what's changed. So it's definitely had a profound effect, on my life and how I see food.
That sounds really good, Chad. Before you were carnivore, you said that you fooled around with keto a little. You were in keto for a while, and then you sort of dropped that, and you were eating a SAD diet. And a SAD diet, you know, standard American diet, means so many different things, so many different people. So I just was wondering what that was like for you. Were you including red meat back then, or were you avoiding it in lieu of chicken or something? Or what was that like? What was your SAD diet like for you?
No, I was definitely having red meat maybe once a week or so, you know, a lot of chicken, you know, some fish. Um, I was always health conscious, so, you know, I would always make sure that I'd have greens or a salad or, you know, some potatoes from time to time.
So,
Um,
so grain, rice or potatoes or bread or,
yeah, I mean, I never really ate a lot of grains or bread, but it's not something that I excluded. You know, I would have it, but it was never, my meals were never centered around like cereal or uh, you know, toast. You know, I'd make a sandwich or something like that, but it was never really like, you know, the you know, eating your like 12 servings of grains a day. Never.
yeah. So it sounds like you had a pretty good diet, a pretty good mixed diet, actually.
Yeah,
So,
as an omnivore, you know, I made sure that I would, you know, eat fairly well. I also have a culinary background. I studied at Le Cordon Bleu. So, you know, I always made sure that I'd make good food, or I always look forward to preparing food.
yeah. So, so and it also sounds like eliminating plants really have kind of calmed down your digestive system.
Yeah, definitely, because you know, for some time, like I'd be at work, I'd always go out and get a salad for lunch, and I noticed that right after lunch, it would just go straight through me. Like it just, I don't know what if there was something in the lettuce or in the salad or the dressing. Could be the oils, this, you know, the polyunsaturated fatty acids. Um, I don't know, but and also there's always a healthy serving of garlic sauce, so that was filled with seed oils. So I'm sure, you know, that definitely, you know, would go through my system, and I noticed, you know, when I stopped doing that, or if I, you know, refrained from eating these foods, things got a lot better.
Yeah, the devil's in the details, huh?
It definitely is.
Yeah. And so, share again, what's your typical day of food eating like now?
Um, so my typical day would be, so now I always wake up in the morning and I'll have some Soli water. So it's you know, saturated, you know, water with Himalayan salt. And then I'll put it with, you know, some more water. I'll have that first thing in the morning with some coffee with some heavy cream. Not a whole lot, but just enough to kind of, you know, that I can taste it. Um, and if I do have, you know, we'll say lunch or breakfast at around 11 or noon, it would be, you know, 3 eggs with leftover meat from the previous day. So it could be steak, it could be a pork chop, it could be some chicken thighs that I've cooked, it could be chicken wings. And then for dinner, it could be, you know, either a nice big steak with some eggs, or half-pound patties with cheese and eggs on the side.
Sounds pretty carnivore. Very
Yeah,
good.
definitely. And I mean, I do supplement with vitamin D. Like I live in the northern hemisphere, so you know, during the winter we don't get a whole lot of sunlight. So I will take some vitamin D, and I have tried organ meats from time to time, and I'm not a fan at all. And I would like to, but maybe I'm just not preparing it right, or maybe not finding the right type of organ meat. But I do supplement with desiccated liver pills from time to time.
Uh-huh. Well, you don't have to eat lots of organs, just liver. Just liver will do the trick.
Right, exactly.
And have you ever tried frozen pieces of frozen liver?
I've not, but it is something that I have seen on the web.
I mean, you could just sort of toss a chunk of frozen liver down and then, you know, drink a glass of water or something. It's like, or drink some coffee or whatever.
Yeah,
You know, sometimes it really has. Sometimes it's easier for people. It's really, it doesn't have a lot of taste when it's raw, frozen raw.
yeah. Well, I'm told that calf liver is pretty mild.
It
So
is. It's hard to find
yeah,
where I live. Yeah.
yeah. I'm trying to find calf liver, and I can't find it in the grocery stores anywhere.
I think it's the mildest. I think it's even milder than chicken, but it's like really seems to be hard to come by.
Yeah, and chicken liver, I had it years ago, and no thanks.
Yeah. So I just do beef liver. Yeah. Um, and your family, your new young family, are they partaking in all your meat cooking?
They my my spouse, my wife doesn't really follow a carnivore diet. She eats a mixed diet, and it's not definitely not something that I would impose on her. I believe that it's a personal choice.
Is she vegetarian?
No, no,
But okay,
no.
so
Actually, when we met, I was pescatarian at the time,
yeah.
and we went out for dinner one night when we were dating, and she had a piece of steak, and I'm like, oh, I want a bite, and
Okay, so
yeah,
she
it was I kicked pescatarian right after that.
yeah, exactly. So you guys can share on the meat you cook, so that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very good. And congratulations again on your new baby. Very nice.
Not new now. He's going to be 2 years.
Oh,
But,
well, he's a whole two.
yeah.
Um,
Well, thank
yeah,
you, but thank you very much.
yeah. And it's great that maybe you're finding better sleep.
Yes, yes, a little bit better, but I guess they have growth spurts from time to time, and that can disturb one's sleep.
Yeah, you have 18 years and then you'll be back to sleep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What's
But
18?
it's such a it's I wouldn't change it for the world. It's definitely changed my life for the better.
Yeah, you mean your baby?
Yes,
Yes.
and my wife.
Yes. Absolutely. Um, well, it sounds like the carnivore diet's working for you. Just the relaxing for your digestive system. Plants are, what we don't know about plants. There's just not that plants are all bad, but that we just sort of have cultivated them for flavor and not really looked into the different properties of plants. So it's great that you're able to do that now.
Yeah, we've been indoctrinated for so many years that you need to have your vegetables. They're good for you. You know,
Yeah.
and after doing some research, there's a lot of compounds in plants that really aren't that great for you.
Yeah. I mean, they want to live too. So,
Yeah, they don't want to be eaten. They want to stay in the ground.
yeah. I guess just parts of it want to be eaten, like maybe fruit.
Fruit, yeah.
Yeah. Um, well, good for you. It sounds like it's working well for you. And thank you for sharing that.
It's my
Especially,
pleasure.
a lot of people have digestive issues and they just sort of take it as just part of just living or part of eating, and it's not. And it's nice that you've been able to change that up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to utilize MeatRx at all?
So I've been thinking about perhaps joining the MeatRx community in the month of April. Again, it's not, definitely thinking about it, but we'll see. But I definitely appreciate, what MeatRx is doing, what the website Meat Heals. It's where I got a lot of information when I first, even before I started, I would look at a lot of people's journeys and, how it's improved their lives. I contribute regularly in the World Carnivore Tribe Facebook site. And I, definitely want to help others, who are having, either gastrointestinal issues or, maybe mental health problems. I think that, and I'm curious to see where the research is going. I know there was a study that was being funded last year. So I'm definitely curious to see as to, what that's going to say.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going to demonstrate.
Yeah, tune in on that. That first month, you can just join for free and
Yeah.
check out MeatRx and go to some meetings. And it's nice to have the support. It's a great group the Carniverse is a great group of people. Yeah, I've found.
Yeah, I'm starting a new job in April, so I'll be working from home. So I definitely will have more time for that. But at the moment, and I guess what's kind of helped me back is because I work outside of the house and I'm fairly busy.
Oh, yeah.
I want to make sure that I, would get the most out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks again. Very good.
Well, thank you.
And maybe I have one last question. Do you have something you would say to someone who's like considering it, who's maybe a little fearful or about, should I try this diet?
I say do it for 30 days.
Yeah.
Really commit to it for 30 days. Really see how you feel. If you feel that, a lot of problems have improved or you just feel better in general, then you might want to stick to it. But at least, 30 days, it's not going to harm you. It's not going to, other than the adaptation, the first few weeks. But yeah, do it for 30 days. And if by 30 days you feel better, then that's your decision. Either continue or go back to how you're eating before.
Sounds like good advice, Chad. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you have a great day.
You too.
Okay.